Hello and welcome to Winchester Now, our weekly news programme here on Winchester Radio. I'm Mary Blaxland. On this week's programme, delving into Winchester's past, free lunches to help families with the cost of living crisis, and the Scouts heading out to the World Jamboree. Winchester Radio. People in Winchester have been given a chance to discover more about the history lying beneath the city centre. Archaeologists have been working on a site behind St Clement's Surgery since the middle of July, and excavations have begun at a second site this week. Now an open day has been held to reveal what's been found. Winchester Radio went along.
So as you can see, we've got the lovely Victorian alleyway there. You just look at the other side, you've got a lovely pile of shells there, and we think that's capping off a medieval cesspit.
Archaeologist Holly shows visitors to the first trench of 4 to be explored over the next few months. Carefully, they've worked to uncover Victorian and medieval finds. And what's it like working on this site?
Oh, it's really good. I love it because I'm relatively new to the business. I've only been working in commercial archaeology for 6 months, and it is essentially once in a lifetime working for the council in which the job archaeology is first and the thing comes second. So we're going to dig, find out what we're going to dig, and they'll do the development around the archaeology rather than finding the archaeology and then they're just going to plonk something on top of it. I was part of the team that found the well in Upper Brook Street, and if you find anything like that again, I'll be ecstatic. It was so good working. I mean, I'm quite happy down a hole 6 foot covered in mud. It's my happy place, and this is going to be doing it 3 times over, so I'm really looking forward to what we're going to find.
The archaeology is taking place at the bus station site ahead of the Central Winchester Regeneration scheme. The trench has unveiled remains of a Victorian alleyway, a cesspit and a medieval building. Because of its proximity to nearby buildings, this trench can only be a metre deep. Others may delve even deeper. Here's Regional Manager of Pre-Construct Archaeology, Paul McCulloch.
Well, it's very exciting because it demonstrates that the archaeological potential of the bus station is really quite significant. I think we're going to be finding something fairly similar in the other 3 trenches that we're doing, and so we're hoping to improve the archaeological knowledge of this part of the town that's not really been subject to archaeological investigation in the past.
What does it tell us about Winchester at that time?
It tells us how very much built up the streets were, lots of properties lining them all the way up to the defences, and the great thing is that we have documentary evidence that describes all those properties as well, so we can put the archaeology, which we can see in the ground here, against the documentary evidence and understand the properties from an archaeological point of view, but also the properties from a historical point of view. We can literally populate those buildings that we're finding with real people, their names and who they were and what they did.
A stall set up in the Abbey Gardens showed off some of the finds, including pottery and floor tiles, before visitors were taken on a tour of the site.
It's quite fascinating. I'll be interested to see what happens at the next layer or 2 down when it comes to medieval stuff. But I think it's really good to see the whole approach to it as well, before development takes place, which is much needed, actually. But it's a balance, I think, isn't it, between historical days and today. So, no, fascinating thing.
My 8-year-old son, Jack, loves digging for Britain. I think he's watched literally every single episode. And on Instagram, I saw about this trench being open, so he was very keen to come and have a look and learn more about what lies beneath our street.
I found it pretty fun because I'm pretty happy to see the medieval dump pits.
Cesspits.
Yeah.
And learn that they put oyster shells on them to help the smell, basically, I think it was.
I think just to see the trench, get an idea of it, the layout, they've explained it really well, so you can understand the different layers and the different periods. So yeah, it's been really good. Enjoyed it.
And what's next then? You're studying more trenches?
Yes, over the coming weeks we'll be digging some more trenches over in the back of the bus station, and we're expecting to find a lost lane called Palmer's Lane, perhaps other evidence for buildings in the town, but also we're hoping at a deeper level to find elements of the Roman town. One of our trenches is targeting a possible crossroad that was part of the street layout of the Roman town. If we find that, it'll be really good, because we will then have, alongside our well-preserved medieval remains, some well-preserved Roman remains as well. So that's what we're hopeful for.
And how important is it that you are able to do this sort of thing before the development takes place?
Well, it's really important because the information that we find here is going to feed into the design of the development that's going to happen here. The priority will be where the archaeology is really well preserved, and going forward it's quite likely that we'll be able to protect the archaeology from needless loss through development.
What reaction have you had from people today?
It's been fantastic. We've had about 15 parties of something like 10 people each come through and see the trench here and look at the stand we've got up in Abbey Gardens with our information boards. It's been a really, really, really good day so far.
More open days are planned in September and October to reveal the latest discoveries. Winchester Radio. As the cost of living crisis continues, free lunches are being offered to help struggling families during the summer holidays. The Summer Munchies deal is available at Project Store and Kitchen in Middlebrook Street and at Sparsholt Village Shop. It's been part funded by the City Council to help families on low incomes. I spoke to Charlotte Escott, who is front of house manager at Projects.
So our local councillor approached us and said that they needed venues to produce just some sort of health conscious, like really basic packed lunches for kids who needed a bit of support through the holidays, and we were more than happy to jump at the opportunity. We've kind of partnered with the council and they're giving us a little bit of funding for it, just to help out with the cost of it, and they're promoting it. We've put it on our social medias too, and it's on Facebook and bits, but the council are mostly promoting it, and we've had quite a lot of uptake from it in the first week so far. We'll be doing it for the rest of the summer holidays, so we're going to do it for the full 5 weeks, 4 weeks or whatever if it's left, and we have kind of no limit on how many we're doing. We'll cater for as many children need lunches. We're not going to deny anyone a school lunch. We're also not policing it particularly. We're just happy to feed any of the kids that need a packed lunch, and anyone that needs support in the local area, because more than welcome to come to us and help themselves.
And how desperately needed do you think something like this is, from what you understand?
From my understanding of it, it is quite desperate. Most of the people that have come in have been so lovely and really grateful, and have said that, the cost of living crisis and the increase in everything recently has really hit them hard, and having a little bit of support, even if it's one meal a day over 6 weeks, is massively helpful. And they think that more things like this should be put in place for the rest of the holidays out of the year, and just anything else that any spare bit of funding should really be going towards kind of kids that need a little bit of a push. And I agree. I think we all do.
So you say there's been quite an uptake already in the first week. What's that been like? How many people have come forward?
I think I've made anywhere between like 15 and 20 or 22 packed lunches a day, and I'm obviously only doing it Monday to Friday because that's what the schools would be doing, but that's quite a big uptake, and it's got busier as the week's gone on. So Monday we sort of maybe did 10 or 11. By Friday we did like nearly 20. Thursday we did a couple more than that, and I think the coming weeks, as more people speak about it, get to know that we're here, word of mouth's kind of our best friend. It's parents taking their kids out and they're chatting to other parents and they're sort of pointing out where we are. That's going to be the main way we get people to come and know about us, but I think it's going to get busier just because people will talk about it and spread the word.
And people can just come in and get a packed lunch if they need it?
They can. They just come in, turn up, tell me how many packed lunches you need, and I will hand them to you. I'm not policing it. I'll feed kids.
And what do they get in their packed lunch?
It's just a really basic, I'm just trying to health conscious it, just a sandwich or like a pasta pot or something really basic that a kid will eat, a couple of bits of fruit, but we're packing them out, so we'll fill the sandwiches and we'll fill the pasta up and make it nice, just something really basic. We've done like tomato and cheese pasta pots. We've done just like basic ham and cheese sandwiches, basic cheese and tomato sandwiches, a little like salad pots on the side we've done, just so that they're getting their kind of 5 a day, and 2 bits of fruit per child. We're just changing that up every day, just trying to keep it a little bit more interesting than just a banana every day.
And it must be lovely for you to think that you're making a difference.
We just want to help. There's not a great deal that we can do, unfortunately, but if we can at the very least sort of make a packed lunch and lend a little bit of our time to support our local community, then we will, because we care.
Now more news from around our city. Hampshire Hospitals has scored highly in a new national survey on urgent and emergency care. More than 300 patients who attended the emergency department last September ranked their experiences in a survey carried out by the Care Quality Commission. The Trust achieved 8.4 out of 10 for cleanliness and information sharing and 8 for care and treatment. But it was only given 5.1 out of 10 for waiting times. The Trust admits it still needs to improve and is committed to delivering outstanding care for all. Building work is taking place at the Matterley Bowl in preparation for the Boomtown Festival, which starts next Wednesday. The festival is celebrating its 15th anniversary this year. More than 60,000 people will descend on the Winchester site. Boomtown has 15 main stages plus other venues. There's a huge lineup of performers. Among them the prodigy and disco legend Sister Sledge. A Winchester school has been given funding to set up a swap shop for pre-loved cookware. The money has been given by Hampshire County Council's Waste Prevention Community Grant Scheme. In total, £37,000 was awarded to 14 groups, schools and charities across the county who run initiatives to protect the environment and help people save money. All Saints Primary is also creating a school recipe book on reducing food waste. The Repair Cafe in Winchester also received funding for its work to fix goods and prevent them going to landfill.
Hi, it's Paul Betts here again, and it's time for this week's community shout-outs. And a rainy day didn't put off charity fundraisers who came to a coffee morning at Rick Stein's restaurant and raised over £350 for Home Start Winchester. Charity supports around 75 families a year with help, friendship and advice. Organisers have given a shout out to the restaurant staff for allowing them to take over their premises for the morning and making them welcome, and has given special thanks to those who went along to give their support. Thank you everyone. Keep Britain Tidy is holding its Love Parks Week this week to celebrate green spaces and all the volunteers and staff who looks after them. So the City Council has given a shout out to the litter heroes and in particular Winchester litter pickers. The group has been running for nearly 30 years and holds regular get-togethers to carry out picks across the district. The team also collects aluminium cans for the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Air Ambulance charity appeal. Winchester Now is going to be going out with the litter pickers later this month. And congratulations to a lady called Kathy who has just celebrated 50 years of service at Marks and Spencer's on the High Street. She marked the occasion with colleagues past and present at a tea party where she was presented with flowers, champagne, gift cards and a bonus, as well as an all expenses paid trip to London for show and hotel stay. We'll have more shout outs for you next week here on Winchester Now.
Winchester Radio.
140 young people from across Hampshire have flown out to South Korea to take part in the World Scout Jamboree over the next 3 weeks. They'll be joined by around 5,000 scouts from across the UK and 50,000 from across the world. It's the 25th World Scout Jamboree, and one of those taking part is Sylvester Haller from Winchester, who spoke to me just before he set off.
Well, we'll learn a lot about the country's culture, which is South Korea. So the food mostly and the history, scouting activities, trading badges, just pretty much everything scouting and Korean.
It must be really exciting to go to a place like South Korea. There must be so much to learn out there.
Yeah, I mean, the furthest I've been away without my parents has been Belgium on a school trip. So Korea is a really different environment for 3 weeks.
How were you picked to go there? Tell me a bit about the process of making this happen.
First of all, you have to sign up on the website. Then you put in your form, all that, and then you get an email a month later that says about a selection weekend where you go and 4,000 scouts are there. And then you do a bunch of activities. They pick people that did good things in different bits. And a quarter of you get to go on the Jamboree. And the other 3/4 go to Project 23, which is very similar, but it's in Europe instead. And it's just a trip around Europe.
And then you have to fundraise, don't you, to be able to go out there?
Yeah. You have to fundraise about $4,000 for the Jamboree.
And how did you do your fundraising?
Well, it's been quite tough since I started when I was just 12. And I was kind of new to the area. It was very difficult to get started when other people were busking and all that. So I've saved up some of my Christmas and birthday money, and my parents have been helping out a lot. After the Jamboree, I'm going to get knuckled down and I'm going to start fundraising for even after we've done it.
And what does being a scout mean to you?
It's really been a time to let go and just have fun, because school, and I don't really have many clubs outside of school where I can kind of run around and that kind of thing.
And how are you feeling then about the adventure that's ahead?
I'm so excited. It's weird. My body's ignored the nerves because I'm that excited. I've got everything packed downstairs. It's an absolute jumble of clothes and trinkets and stuff. But I'm so excited for the food. We get 3 weeks in Seoul where we just walk around and learn about Seoul. And we're going to temples and restaurants. It's going to be very good.
And to be with that many scouts as well, that'll be an amazing experience, won't it?
Yeah. So the camp is split into, I think it's 4 sections. Each of those sections is split into another 4. And then each of those sections has about 50 groups of 40 people. So it's a massive camp. They've had to build all this stuff, this drainage, because it's the monsoon season, which is going to be absolutely pouring wet. And we've got all our places where we're staying. Right now, I think I'm next to some Swedish people and some Americans.
Wow, so you'll be meeting people from all over the world.
Yeah. We're going to be trading badges and knackers and everything. So make new friendship.
Well, good luck with it all. And when are you off?
I'm off tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We're going to meet somewhere and then we're going to sleep until 2 a.m, take a coach to Heathrow, and then at 4:30 we'll fly to Poland for 2 hours, stay in Poland for 2 hours, and then we've got the long 12-hour flight all the way to Korea. But the problem is when we get there, it's going to be 8:30 a.m, so I'm going to be very jet lagged.
That sounds like an incredible experience. Will you come back and talk to us when you return?
Oh yeah, of course.
Scout Sylvester Haller ending our programme today. Remember, if you have a story to share with us, do get in touch. You can drop us an email to news@winchester.radio and you can follow us on social media. Many thanks for listening.